Welcome back, everyone. In today's educational clip, we'll dive into the fascinating world of Instagram's algorithm. You know those platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? They're not just there to connect you with friends and funny videos. They're businesses and pretty good at making money, even though they're free to use. So what's the secret behind those platforms? Well, it's all about keeping you engaged. The longer you scroll through your feed, the more advertisements you see. And more advertisement means more profits for the company. But how do they keep you engaged in their platform? That's where algorithms come into play. I know that algorithm may sound complicated for most people, but it's actually just a set of steps to reach a goal. We use algorithms in our daily life actually. Think about it. When you are shopping for a new laptop, we first gather information about the laptop, then we prioritize what matters most to us, like appearance, functionality, and finally, we decide which one to buy. It's algorithmic thinking. But when it comes to social media, algorithms work differently. They analyze tons of data, predict what content you find interesting, and fill your feed with it. And trust me, it takes work. The real challenge is figuring out what passive users, the ones who don't actively engage, are into. That's where times come in. Even if you're not liking or sharing, the algorithm knows how long you linger on a post and will make predictions based on that. Once the algorithm understands your interests, it ranks content by its appeals to you. Then it curates your feed, putting the juicy stuff at the top. Now, each social media has its unique way of doing it. So how does Instagram's algorithm actually work? Instagram is, above all, a commercial platform aiming to raise its profits. It has become a solid cooperative tool for millions of businesses, while its algorithm simply promotes mainstream and commercial content. Instagram actually adopted a personalization algorithm in 2016. The algorithm used two main ingredients, affinity and popularity. What is affinity? Affinity means the content you see is exactly made for you. It's based on the content you follow and the posts you engage with. If you like pictures of cute dogs, Instagram knows you're a dog lover and will show you more dog-related content. And then there is popularity. The more likes and comments a post gets, the higher the chance it goes viral and ends up on the Explore page. Ever heard of the Explore page? Well, it's like the holy grail of Instagram visibility. If you want your post to be here, use popular hashtags, follow trends, and get creative. It's like a popularity compass, and the algorithm is the judge. Algorithms are designed to select what's popular, but they also have the power to inadvertently introduce bias into our feeds. Yes, we're talking about algorithmic bias. Let's explore how this algorithm can sometimes reinforce stereotypes.
Now, let's talk about the bias of the algorithm. Algorithms actually largely reflect our real-life biases. When they produce results, this algorithm may lack the depth and diversity to truly represent our diverse world. Part of the problem lies in the ambiguity of the mechanism by which they operate. The complexity of how algorithm works remains shrouded in mystery to the layperson, making it challenging to identify and address inherent biases. Some subpopulations, for example, are simply underrepresented inside the data used to train machine learning algorithms. Dark-skinned women are an example. Their small percentage in this data means that the algorithm may be less likely to provide accurate predictions or classification for them. In Instagram, its censorship mechanism isn't all that fair either. It has been observed that their censorship guidance show a clear biases, especially when it comes to women's body or expression or femininity. This arguably reflects the prevalence of the male gaze on the internet, and the phenomenon of shadow ban on Instagram complicates matters further. While shadow banned users can post content, their visibility is limited to their followers, effectively diminishing their online presence. This practice has led many women to leave the platform as they feel marginalized by this strict censorship. So what are the practical implications of these biases? Firstly, they can lead to representational damage. When a community finds itself misrepresented or excluded from a digital platform, societal perceptions are skewed, paving the way for misunderstanding, discrimination, or unfounded bias. It is not common for the portrayal of women on a specific platform to grossly underestimate their real-world number. This is also the issue of distributional damage. Bias in algorithm can lead to a disproportionate allocate of resource of opportunity that favor content group to the exclusion of others. We must therefore confirm and correct these biases. It is only through introspection and thoughtful action that we will be able to shape an equitable digital sphere that ensures that everyone, regardless of their background, can find a welcoming and representative space online. Now, let's take a look at how these biases are created.
Why does Instagram develop the above biases? We need to explore both the external and internal reasons of this phenomenon. Firstly, it is important to realize that the algorithmic biases related to gender or race is widespread across large tech giants and social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram. Some have proposed the concept of surveillance capitalism, in which the power and capitalism behind the social media platforms. The power can potentially influence young social values and create potential algorithmic biases. It is also important to look at the operational issues with Instagram. The internal causes of algorithmic biases mainly include the operation and regulation on Instagram. Instagram belongs to the tech giant Meta. According to CNBC, 42 attorney generals is suing Meta in October, alleging that Facebook and Instagram are addictive and targeting kids and teenagers. Similarly, Instagram also faces content censorship issues during its operation. Due to ineffective monitoring and the lack of algorithmic optimization, keyword searches often yield results that are racially or sexually discriminatory. And Oliver Scholars pointed out that some groups of people are marginalized in the platform's content moderation process, such as transgender. He stated that content moderation decisions might not be uniformly applied across different groups of users, potentially leading to disproportionate censorship that affects individual users based on their gender, race, or political beliefs. He also discovered that content and accounts belonging to political conservatives, transgender individuals, and Black people are more frequently removed from social media platforms comparing to others. This issue is also observable in Instagram's search results, indicating that the platform's incomplete database and biased content moderation contribute to exacerbating existing prejudices.
As mentioned before, to increase awareness of the importance of resisting the biases of algorithm, the shadow ban on Instagram means that those people's content that is restricted by the shadow ban will always become invisible on social media. As a result, many people, especially sex workers, women, and other marginalized groups, need to stay together to resist this unfair situation. People should stay together and stand as one, even when faced with this ongoing issue. We can increase awareness and resistance in different ways. For example, users, usually marginalized groups, need to raise their understanding that they face an unfair situation and are not being treated fairly. Hence, they should come together, like establishing an organization and fighting for their rights. The appropriate content should be visible to every user rather than becoming invisible because of the biases of shadow ban. Besides, using the filter bubble to delete is inappropriate. Using the filter bubble as a tool, according to the algorithm's training, the bubble will filter the message and send it to each user according to their preference. This bubble's disadvantage is that it is not neutral and can potentially discriminate against the message. Therefore, users should increase awareness, which is important for each online users like you and me. How do you feel if you become the algorithmic bias victim? So, let's raise awareness and emphasize that if it feels unfair, stay with the users in the same situation as you to resist, like creating hashtags and other methods. This effort isn't only for users, it's also crucial for the algorithmic engineering to make improvements. There is one bias called the observed bias. If you are considering working as algorithm engineering in the future, be sure to check for any personal biases to avoid perpetuating them. Also, it is important for the government to step in and regulate this issue, establish rules, and make the social media companies accountable for their algorithmic bias, impact on society, and encourage them to accept the diversity of the content on the platform. That is for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to thumb up and subscribe. We'll see you next time.